Hello, friends. Welcome to episode 24 of the Kpop Weekly podcast with Emily Mallon. I'm your host. Thank you so much for joining me for another week of Kpop fun, Kpop reviews, what's going on in the world of Kpop. I'm honored to have you here. If it's your first time listening, thank you for joining. I do this show weekly. New episodes come out every Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Special welcome to Patreon members, my Patreon community. If you'd like to join, click on the link. It's the only way you get to listen to playlists, vote in polls, discuss the episode, and discuss other topics in and around K-pop. We did a K-drama one a few weeks ago because I love K-dramas and I wanted to talk about it. This week, it's Xikers. Xikers' second comeback. I can't believe they already have this many comebacks. I'm going to review that EP for you. Plus, Chung Ha. Chung Ha's first project on J Park's More Vision label. I have thoughts. Can't wait to get into that one. And a surprise single featuring Jennie from Blackpink. Plus, I've got a lot of news per usual. This world never stops. But before we get into the show, let's get to some poll questions. Each week I ask poll questions on the Patreon. It's a great way for me to gauge what you guys are vibing to, your opinions on stuff. If you listen to the podcast and you watch the podcast, whatever way you like to enjoy the show, you know I can get pretty opinionated. So it's always fun for me to see if you guys agree or disagree and kind of what your thoughts are. So last week, I reviewed IU. I've never been a giant IU fan, but I really vibed with this comeback. I thought it was great. So I asked you, do you stan IU? Yes. I like her, but I don't stan, or no. 17% of you stan. 83% said I like her, but I don't stan. And 0% said no. So the community vibes with IU. I would say I finally get it. I thought that this comeback was great. I wouldn't say I'm like a full stan. So I'd be with you guys that I like her, but maybe I don't stan her 83%. I loved Shopper. Shopper was like my song from this release. So I had to ask y'all favorite IU single because we got 3 singles off of this. We had Love Wins All, Hulsey, and Shopper. My community didn't agree with me. 0% chose Shopper. 50% of you liked Tulsi. 50% said Love Wins All. Okay, moving on. I reviewed Plave last week, and I want to give a massive, massive shout out to the Plave fans. This is the second time I've spoken about Plave on my podcast, and they just show up and show out for their group. So many wonderful, supportive comments, really grateful that I'm reviewing them and showing them the respect they deserve. So I see all of your comments and I'm so grateful and appreciative. And I'm really, really happy that you all vibed with what I had to say. Like, there was one tweet that got me because the person said, I felt seen listening to you. It made me tear up. If I do nothing else through this podcast, to give somebody that feeling is so vital and important to me because I know what it feels like to not feel seen and heard and like people understand you. And all of a sudden, a stranger says something and you think, yes, finally, someone gets it. I get you. I've got you. And that meant the world to me. So thank you so much, Play fans. I really appreciate you showing up. Happy you enjoyed the review. So I asked my community on the Patreon, how do you feel about virtual groups? You know, Plave is really breaking ground. They're so successful. I heard this week that they're really blowing up in Korea. They have a couple show wins now. So I had to ask you, virtual groups, how are we feeling? Cool or not for me? 100% of you said cool. So you're here for it. Even if you don't love the group, people really are starting to open their minds to a virtual group. I told you, I think they're the future and I think we're going to see more and I welcome it. And I will review them on the show, virtual or real, whatever you want to call it. I talk about music. And when it comes to groups like Plave, the music's good. I have to talk about them on air. Okay, now this week, I was going to review Tempest and I decided not to because I was very unhappy with what their label decided to sit out a member because he went to a nightclub with friends. I can't support your comeback when that's how you're handling things. And I feel bad because it's not the other guy's fault. They're working their butts off. They probably feel awful for that member and they're frustrated and sad. But sometimes, you have to stand on something. I can't support this comeback. I wish them well, but for me, reviewing it just didn't feel right a week after the label says it's too much of a distraction, that fans are upset over him going to a nightclub. Whatever. So I got into this conversation with my Patreon members and I said, do you think their label made the right call sitting Hwa for the group's comeback? Yes or no? Not surprising. 100% of you said no. And obviously, I agree. Um, and then I also said, like, how can the K pop industry fix these unreasonable expectations from fans? Because it's really gotten out of hand. I mean, the scandals are bad enough, but now you have normal things being called a scandal and they're having to sit for it in ways that we haven't seen in recent years, right? So there's a lot that needs to be fixed. And I gave you guys the option. Labels need to protect their artists. Idols should just live their life without caring, or fans should call out poor behavior. The last option was all of the above, and you all chose all of the above. That was a softball. I just think there's so many things in the whole fandom, the whole culture around K-pop that can be done a lot better. But there's not just one thing. Fans need to do a lot better. Fan behavior needs to be fixed, and it's on fans to call out people who are doing this type of thing. The label needs to protect their artists. It should never get this far. The label should be suing and protecting their artists at all cost. And I would hope that the artist should be able to go out and have fun and not care. So fingers crossed in the future we get this. My last question: should K-pop idols be able to sing? A ridiculous question, but it was quite the debate last week. If you read my newsletter and if you watched or listened to the show, I have very strong opinions on this. But I was like, maybe I'm going on a rant for no reason. Maybe I'm the crazy one and nobody else cares about vocals. So I had to ask my Patreon community the options. I gave them 3 options. Number 1, they should be amazing singers. Number 2, at least be able to carry a tune. Or number 3, I don't care if they can sing. This didn't surprise me because I think if you listen to my show, you're probably into the music. 0% chose I don't care. And then 43% said at least be able to carry a tune. And 57% said they should be amazing singers. I agree. And I'm going to be real. I agree with both. I think the difficulty here from maybe old school boy bands, I always kind of go back to the Backstreet Boys because they're like my favorite boy band. Really, only 3 of them sung. Like Kevin and Howie would get maybe one line on one song and the whole album. They weren't featured. So, in a lot of traditional boy groups, there was 1 or 2 lead singers and everyone else is kind of background. And they're there for the harmonies, for the dance, all of that. In K-pop, something that makes it so special is everyone gets a part. Even if it's just a couple lines, everyone gets a chance to be in the spotlight and to shine. And for that reason, I completely agree with my Patreon subscribers. The 0%, I don't care if they can't sing. They all need to be able to sing and definitely at least carry a tune. Now, I'm in the camp, they should be amazing singers. You're getting paid to be behind a microphone. But I agree with you guys on that. So thank you so much for voting. If you'd like to vote, head on over to the Patreon. There's poll questions up every week. I hope you're having a great week. I'm happy to be back and be talking about K-pop with y'all. Big, huge announcement. It's spring break time for me. Yes, that's right. It's time for me to take a small break. I'll be back. Don't worry. This isn't like a huge deal, but it's important to take some time off. And right now, there's a lot going on outside of K-pop in my world that I kind of need to spend more time attending to. So the next 2 weeks, there will be no show. I sincerely apologize. For Patreon subscribers, don't worry. You're not going to be charged for the weeks that I'm not active. So I'll post more about that. But I don't want you to feel like you're not getting value for your subscription, no worries, nothing crazy. I just need to take a break in the next few weeks. So I'm going to do that. And then I will be back because there's so many amazing releases coming up. Like April 1st is stacked. That's insane. But we also have like The Boys, NCT Dream. I love the trailer and the kind of preview for this NCT Dream project. Boy, does it sound more mature and interesting. I'm really looking forward to that. I'll have full reviews of everything I missed. Don't worry. When I come back in 2 weeks, it's going to be like I was never gone. But I appreciate you all in advance for allowing me this time. It's not easy doing the show alone every week. There's a lot that goes into this, and sometimes I can't juggle everything. So thank you so much for allowing me to take 2 weeks off. I will be back. No worries, no stress. Let's get into tonight's show. Let's talk about these guys, Xikers. Xikers is spelled Xikers. I'm always paranoid I'm saying their name wrong, but I've been told that's how you pronounce it. This is a 10-member boy group. They debuted on KQ Entertainment last year in 2023. This is their second comeback, so their third project. KQ Entertainment, in case you don't know, that's RIIZE's label. So these are the little brothers of RIIZE. One member, Chung Ha, is not part of this project because he's been out due to a knee injury. I think he tore his ACL, MCL. It was a major cartilage tear that's going to take a while to recuperate. And he still wasn't quite ready. So unfortunately, he's not part of this. So we got 9 members on this comeback. It's an EP called House of Tricky, Trial and Error. They gave us 6 songs, and the single is called We Don't Stop. Okay, I liked that old school drum machine loop at the beginning. That was an interesting sound to start things off with. This is very kind of pop punk. And I think that's their identity. We've had 3 releases now, 3 albums to kind of absorb and get a feel for who they are. And as of now, I would say that's definitely their identity. So I think for a lot of listeners that are really into emo, punk, and also I want to say like rap rock, very specifically, I'm old. I grew up in the time of like Korn and Limp Bizkit, that kind of rap rock sound. Xikers gives me a little bit of that feel. So that first verse reminded me of Sum 41. Like that really felt kind of Sum 41-ish. And then the chorus, you're in 90s, 2000s rock rap. I'm not mad at it. But I've got to say, my favorite is that breakdown, the woo-wee part. That's my favorite part of the song. I actually love that part. I also really like the singing on the pre-chorus. We get to hear their vocals there. And I think they have good singers. And that's one kind of note I have really in general for this whole album. I want to hear their vocals a little bit more. I think that they've become very rap rock heavy. And I find myself perking up when the voices come out. So that's kind of just my overall feel for this release. But back to We Don't Stop. The ending goes really hard. Instead of just continuing in like the formulaic song, after the bridge, you do kind of a bombastic chorus to end things out. At the end of this one, there's a switch up that I think is really interesting and really works. I loved that. That was very, very cool. I think Xikers executes this style really well. You know, that said, it's not my favorite style. I tend to go towards more R&B stuff. But I think if you're into that style of music, if you're into this type of music, I think Xikers does what they do very well. And I think this is a good song. I can see where fans would probably really like this one. So yeah, I think this is a good song. Let's talk about the music video. I liked this music video a lot. I thought this was very, very well done. Starts off with that like fisheye lens. They're knocking on the door. Speaking of Backstreet Boys, like everybody, they look very cool. A lot of hip hop inspired fashion mixed with bright colors that really conveys energy and youth. But there's a lot of swag here. They're the cool guys. I get it. I'm buying it. I'm here for this. I loved the visual effect where there were different kind of like computer windows, like that graphic popping up, and it focused on zoomed in aspects of different members, like their feet, their mouth, their eyes. It was just like a really cool visual and a way to break things up from the monotony of member, group dance, all the stuff that we're used to seeing in K-pop videos. I loved that. When that came on screen, I was like, oh, yes, yes. I also liked it when the bricks were moving with the scratching noise. I liked it when the buildings were moving along with the song. It was very rhythmic and it really, really worked. Probably my favorite part at the end, when that switch up does happen, it turned into a much harder feel. It was black and white. The choreography was very grounded and went with the music. It looked like a 90s rap video, and I'm not mad at that. I love that aesthetic. I thought it was really, really cool. Very effective. And everything went with the song. It was the visuals here weren't jarring. They were cool, and there was some unique, interesting stuff. And it went with the song, and it made me like the song more. So the music video accomplished everything it needed to. I will say though, the choreography was hit and miss for me. Like at the end, I really liked it, but during some parts of the song, it felt weird to see like a really fast K-pop choreography to a rap rock song, right? Like it just doesn't feel as natural for me. It feels like they're hitting 8 fast movements when the beat is a little bit slower. And sometimes it works and it looks great. But other times I just wanted them to be more grounded with that hard rhythm instead of like fast, sharp K-pop dancing. That's just my preference. They executed everything that was given to them really well. But I do tend to think sometimes with K-pop choreography, they need to hear the thing less is more. Like I talked about this when I was on CCTV, Nonstop Pop Show, a couple weeks ago. If you haven't watched it, check it out. But we talked about like Easy La Seraphim. That choreography is almost needlessly difficult, and it doesn't go with the music. And the verses, they're just going so fast and intense, and that's like a mid-tempo R&B song. Just groove with the rhythm. And this happens in K-pop more and more, where I don't know if they're just trying to do the hardest choreography. I don't know. I think maybe sometimes they go with the lyrics and not the rhythm. I'm not sure. But in this song, this is such a hard song. I wanted a little more of that really cool, grounded hip hop vibe as opposed to K pop. There is a distinction. And they did at the end when it went black and white. That's kind of the vibe I think I wanted with the whole song. Again, that's just my preference. I'm not saying it was good or bad, but I made a note of that. Let's talk about the rest of this album. I want to give you my standout songs. They gave us 6 songs. So my album picks Supercalifragilistic and Every Flavored Jelly. Okay, Supercalifragilistic, I thought that beat was very refreshing compared to the first 3 songs. It was kind of the first one that like snapped out of the formula of the project. So it really caught my ear and I thought that was great. It's more rhythmic. It's fun. It's high energy. And I would say I pictured some killer choreography to this one. I think this is a song made for live performance. Every Flavored Jelly, the piano at the beginning reminded me a bit of Pretty Savage from Blackpink. I love that song, so that's definitely a compliment. Nice beat and bass in this one. And I've got to say, like, out of every song on this EP, I think this one is most my vibe. I liked this the best. The rapper's flow feels really natural on this track. And I loved the slower, cool rhythm in the chorus. This one wasn't expected. It was very cool, a little bit different. And that bridge, finally, vocals, vocals, vocals. I need more vocals from Xikers. They can sing, let them sing. I get it. They're rap heavy and they want to show that off and they want to be probably different. There are so many strong 5th gen boy groups. The boy groups that debuted last year, crushed the girl groups. I don't care. I'm going to say it. So it's hard to stand out. And I definitely get they've got great rappers in this group. You want to focus on that. But look at a group like Monsta X, who has the best rap line. Sorry. When it comes to rap lines, Jew Honey and I Am from Monsta X, I don't think anybody can touch them. Not only are they talented technically, but, they have a very different style and they complement each other so well. There's just so much. I could go on and on. So I understand the rap thing. But when you look at Monsta X, they also have amazing singers. And they do a really good job balancing it. The rappers get their chance to show off and shine, but the singers are also going to get that chance. With Xikers, I just want a little more balance maybe on the next project because this one felt very, very heavy on rap, and the vocalist didn't get a lot of chances to kind of show off. Not the end of the world. But anyways, every flavor jelly, loved. I thought that was really smart, really well done. It's time for my rankings from Xikers' House of Tricky Trial and Error EP. This is from least favorite to favorite. Number 6, Break a Leg. Number 5, Trial and Error, Whereabouts, the intro. I thought it was a really nice way to set up what we were about to hear. It set the tone. Number 4 was the title track, We Don't Stop. Number 3, Red Sun. This is a rap heavy group, and this one went extra hard. I liked it. Number 2, Supercalifragilistic. Good song. I loved that song. Beat is so refreshing. But my number 1, let's talk about jelly flavors. Every flavor jelly. My number 1 song from this project. I loved that song. The bridge alone was my favorite on the album. So that's my number 1 pick. Congratulations to Xikers. I think this is an interesting project. I think they executed it really well, and it was very cohesive. I talk about that a lot on the podcast. This was a full project. This sounded like an album, not 6 random different singles. So I really appreciate that. I got a feel for what it was about from that first song, and it kept me engaged, and it kept kind of that cohesive sound story going throughout the album. So kudos to Xikers for that. It's time to talk Bias and Wrecker. This is my first time reviewing Xikers on air. I've never publicly picked a bias in Xikers. Okay. My bias in this group, speaking of vocals, it's not going to be surprising probably to most of you. Jinsuk, yes, great. Really great voice and very captivating on screen. My wrecker, this went all over the place for me, but I'm going to say Hunter and Minjae stood out a lot. They both had really nice presence. I think Minjae is a great rapper, really a lot of confidence there and a natural performer. So the wreckers are always subject to change, but I think my bias is probably going to stay the same in this group. I liked this project. I didn't love it. It's not my favorite Xikers project. Just for fans to give you reference of like what I vibe with, Homeboy is my favorite song of theirs. I love that song. I really, really like that song. Songs like that and Run, those are kind of more my vibe. Doesn't mean good or bad. That's just kind of what I gravitate towards. So that's why this wouldn't be my favorite of their 3 projects. But again, I think if you like the vibe and the sound of what they do it really well. So fans have to be happy with this one. Let's move on. I want to talk about Chung Ha. Chung Ha debuted in the girl group IOI in 2016. They disbanded, and she's been a solo artist since 2017. My old partner and I, Charity, reviewed her on New York City K-Pop Queens, my last podcast. We both really liked her. I think Chung Ha's very, very talented. And she maybe didn't get the support from the last management team that she needed to kind of reach where she should be, if that makes sense. So I was very excited when she signed with Jay Park's label More Vision to see what that label would do with her and how it would go. Because, that's kind of do or die. She's not fresh and new on the scene. She's been out there. So that's more pressure. That's kind of a tough position to be in. You really have to bring it. So this is a single album. It's only 2 songs. The title track is called Eeny Meeny. Okay. that beat, we're in like a 90s hip hop vibe tonight, and I'm not mad at it. That beat is a little bit reminiscent of the song Choice Is Yours from Black Sheep. I'm going to put it on the playlist. You can find the playlist on Patreon. But that song, that's what this reminded me of. Like, I was like, oh, yes, I get where the producers were influenced, and I'm here for it. That's definitely my vibe. So I love the sound. Interesting vocal melody on the verses. I think it really works. And it was different. And immediately I thought, oh, this is cool. Yeah, I vibe with this. The pre-chorus is my favorite part. Chung Ha has a really good voice, really good. And that pre-chorus, it's just this pretty kind of soaring moment in a more hard hip hop sound. So it worked very well. The chorus is very basic. This isn't a vocal heavy pop girl belting chorus. It's a very basic eeny meeny. While the music is the star, I'm not mad at that because I think this has such a cool sound. And that chorus is a little bit of an earworm. That chorus has stuck with me of all the songs that I'm talking about this evening. That chorus is in my head nonstop. So this is a catchy single. It's doing what it was meant to do. And I have to say, when they put that acoustic guitar over that bass beat, great touch. Great touch. Kudos to the producers of this song. This is really well done. I wish, however, that she stayed singing the whole time. When she does kind of the talk rapping, not in the chorus. I'm not talking about the chorus, but there's other parts in the song. I don't think we need that. Like, it was already a hip hop R&B song without the rapping. We don't need her to rap. That's just my opinion, but I kind of felt like, oh, I kind of want you to just sing that interesting melody again. I don't know if I need this rap. Just a little note. But the coolest surprise in this song is Hyunjin from ATEEZ. My man HJ comes in and kills it. He kills it. Very cool surprise. I loved the second part of his verse. I really felt like he was in his bag in the second part of his verse. So rhythmic. The flow felt so natural. I loved it. This song is cool. This song really works. And it has a very clear point of view and perspective. You know what this song is. There's not a million crazy switch ups. There's a lot of interesting elements that make it feel different and unique and exciting. But there's a strong identity to this song that I understood right away. And I was here for it. And I thought this was very smart. This was very smart for them to do with Chung Ha. I think she has to be happy with this. She's getting to show off. She's cool. Yeah, I'm here for this. This was good. The thing about her is she can actually sing, and she has a very nice tone. So I spoke about it last week when I was talking about IU. I've never been a massive IU fan just because her voice naturally sits a lot higher, and that's not what I'm into. Disclaimer, I liked that comeback. She got a positive review from me. But this is the type of voice that's much more my bread and butter. I think Chung Ha has a very nice tone. And this was just smart. This was smart. More Vision is the right place for her. If this is what they're producing, kudos, liked it. Let's talk about this music video. Speaking of More Vision, I feel like it was very obvious that it was from them. And what I mean by that, way more of a gritty hip hop look than K-pop videos. Like the color grading, the styling, the performance aspects, very different from a K-pop video. And I think that's smart. I think this is the next step in her career. So yeah, let's change it up. Let's have kind of a different feel, a more mature persona. Loved it. I thought this video totally worked. I really liked the nod to ATEEZ. That black sparkly outfit with like the gem crystals on the face. That's like part of their lore and their storyline. It was a really nice kind of nod to ATEEZ and ATEEZ. Obviously, I'm an ATEEZ. I appreciated it. Choreography had some cool formations with the dancers. I loved when she like slid down her dancers like they were a slide during that pretty pre-chorus where she slides up. It goes with the music so well. And I liked the choreography in general for this one. Just like I was kind of talking about with Xikers, choreo that works and doesn't work as well. In this choreo, it goes with the rhythm, it goes with the beat of the song, it goes with the music. And I think it just worked so well. Let's talk about HJ from ATs real quick, because yes, he's in the music video. Thank God. Love the blonde hair, his smile. He killed it. He killed it. It was really great. And during that second half of his verse, my favorite part of his part, he lights up performing it. You know, he's got some swag, some cool little dance moves. It really worked. So I think this is very, very, very successful. This is a successful rollout for Chung Ha and More Vision. The song is cool. The video is cool. She looks great. She sounds great. And it's a very different vibe from when I last reviewed her. So this couldn't have gone better, honestly. I think this is a home run for everyone involved. Before I move on, I want to talk about the other song. So the other song is called I'm Ready. And it's so, 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 so good. It's a dance track. It's not reinventing the wheel, but it's reminding us she can be a super pop star if she wants to be or needs to be. It's just a fun dance song. I love that intensity in the opening verse. It works seamlessly into the build and the beat drop. For a B-side, this is good. This could have been a single. I understand. I think Eeny Meeny is a cooler, more effective single, but I'm Ready. Yes. I love when her voice opens up in that chorus. I've listened to this one more than Eeny Meeny. It's a great song to pump you up. This is the song you put on, like, you know, I'm ready to get this, whatever this is for you. This money, this peace, this success, this man, whatever you're ready to get, that mantra of her singing, I'm ready to get this, for whatever reason, really resonated with me. I love this song. I absolutely love it. I liked this music video too. I really liked it. And it was great in comparison to Eeny Meeny. The visuals were very different. So it was very, very effective. She's a superstar pop star in the music video. I loved the makeup, the styling, that makeup with like the black kind of jewel gems around her eyes. Oh, yes, that was so cool. I loved it. Awesome choreography. And I think this song was very smart and the music video was very smart as a redemption track. Like Eeny Meeny is cool, but this one, this is her redemption. She's ready to get this. She's ready to come back and show the world how talented she is and what she brings to the table. She's ready to be the star that she and some of us, including me, knew she always was. And now she has the resources and the backing with More Vision that should get her there. I think this is a great, great pairing. I wish Chung Ha tons of luck. I'm so here for this project. Okay, the last song I want to talk about tonight, Jennie from Blackpink, is featured on a song from Matt Champion. If you're not familiar with him, he's part of the group Brockhampton. And he's releasing like a solo, I believe it's his solo debut. This song will be on it, and it features Jennie. The title of the song is Slow Motion. This was shocking to me. This was very, very, very surprising. And I'm so happy Jennie chose to do this. You get these really tender vocals from Jennie that didn't even sound like her for a second. I was like, wait. That's not Jennie. It's a different voice. It's higher. It's more fragile. It's very vulnerable. And there's a real emotional connection. I was stunned by Jennie's voice on this one. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. You know, it's that higher range isn't something we hear from her all the time. And she's one of those female idols they designated a rapper, even though she can really sing. So I love a song like this where you have everything peeled back. There's nowhere to hide. And you're just hearing these beautiful, tender vocals. Loved it. I've got to be honest though, fair warning, if you're listening to this for the first time, the beat drop is crazy. It like literally scared me. I was like, ugh, when I was listening to it. It was very unexpected the way the beat drop happens in this song. I kind of don't want the beat drop. I want this to be a tender ballad. It's a beautiful song. And I think you take away the beat drop and you just let them perform it. Magic. Magic. Their voices sound great together. You know, Matt Champion has a really interesting vocal delivery and voice. There's a lot of grit. There's a lot of Zach Bryan in his voice. I really got that feel. I'm a big fan of Zach Bryan. So I liked this. I really, really liked it. And I love to see Jennie do project. I love seeing Jennie pick a project like this. It's so smart and it shows us she's a lot more than Jennie from Blackpink. And this song is just taste. Like taste. It shows that she has taste to pick a project like this, to pick a song like this. It's beautiful. So listen to this song. I'm going to put it on the playlist. It's really, really beautiful. So it's called Slow Motion. Yeah. And this made me want to listen to Matt Champion. This made me go, wait a minute. I haven't listened to Brockhampton that often, and I don't know that much about this guy. Let me look him up. So huge win for him getting Jennie on his song, because I know I'm not the only K-pop fan who's now thinking about this. Oh, and just to be clear, there wasn't really a music video for that song. It's just somebody's eye opening and closing with light on it. So there's not a lot to dissect about the music video, but the song is beautiful. Listen to the song. Support Jennie, my girl Jennie Kim. Congratulations to her and Matt Champion. It's time for some K-pop news. Here's what happened in the world of K-pop since I spoke with you last week. Baekhyun will be performing the national anthem at Major League Baseball's opener in Seoul. It's the LA Dodgers versus the San Diego Padres. They're kicking off MLB season with a special game in Seoul, Korea this year. And Baekhyun will be doing the national anthem. They better show it on TV. I need to see this. I'm so excited. Yes. They also announced that Idol and aespa will be performing. Smart, 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 smart. Show the world. Korea's best export, K-pop. Really looking forward to that. Monsta X's I Am announced a comeback on April 3rd. We're getting a new project from him. The 17 will be headlining Lollapalooza in Berlin. Lollapalooza loves the K-pop groups. You had J-Hope headline, Stray Kids headlined in Paris last year, T by T, 17. That's amazing. I think that's great, and that's very positive for the industry. Okay, Plave, who you all know I'm a big fan of, their agency came out swinging. They're going after malicious commenters with legal action. That's it. They came out and they're like, we see what you're saying and we're going to sue you. That's all you need to do. Bravo to them. Good job, V-Last. Speaking of what you need to do, okay. RIIZE is getting attacked, y'all. RIIZE is getting attacked from all angles. I will not dignify the allegations on this show because I am so sick of this. But multiple members were caught in scandals that aren't scandals at all. You know, these are along the lines of the ones I've had to speak about ad nauseum the past few weeks. But it's coming from all angles. All of a sudden, within 2 days, there's like 4 of these stories about different members. I think it's important that people start putting together what's really going on. This is just my opinion. I don't have any evidence, but I think it's really interesting that one company never has any allegations or scandals, but direct competitors to their groups, when they're really getting successful or when there's a lot of buzz, they have a lot of scandals all of a sudden. I think about the person involved with Monsta X with Wonho and BI from Icon. It's just interesting to me that one of the big 4 labels never has any of these problems, but the other groups constantly have to deal with it. YG groups, JYP groups, and SM groups, scandal, scandal, scandal. SM, their scandals 24/7. But that one big company that has all of these giant successful groups don't have any scandals. So you're going to tell me, and I know this, the fans will say that's because those members are just great people. That's because they have these wonderful people that would never do anything wrong. That's not why. Let's get real. Let's take a drink of reality and get real and use our brains. No, no, no. Getting involved in these scandals has nothing to do with you being a good person or not. These are targeted attacks to take members out of groups and to try to destroy their momentum or their success. You cannot tell me that these are all random. These are all 14-year-old girls on Twitter making allegations. Some of them are, and that's disgusting. But I feel like if people did the research and actually followed where these allegations are actually coming from, I think it would be a little different than what we're all being told. And I think there might be some other thing behind it. Just think about what I'm saying for a second. A little suspicious. A little suspicious. And I've already said there's a lot that's suspicious to me from that company. I think their numbers are very suspicious. I see what fans show up for because I do a K-pop show. I've been doing it for 4 years. The groups that are supposedly the biggest from that specific company, their fans are crickets. They're crickets. No one is showing up for anything with that hashtag for these groups. I'm starting to get a little suspicious about the numbers. And actually, I'm not even gonna say I'm suspicious. I think it's clear the numbers are manipulated. Definitely since they got involved with that person and with the American side, allegedly. I have no knowledge or proof. This is just my opinion based on observation. Nothing I'm saying is an accusation at all. This is just my wild opinion. But let's think about this. Who would benefit off of RIIZE being destroyed? Which company has a group that's doing kind of a young, fresh thing? Just debuted. They're doing real well in Korea, a boy group. I don't know. Kind of crazy. So anyways, it's kind of disgusting to watch. There's a lot of corruption behind the K-pop world. And it sucks because these innocent kids end up being the victims. They're the victims. And it sucks. It's totally unfair. There's no reason, speaking of RIIZE, and I've gone on about this, but there's no reason they shouldn't be 7 members right now. Chung Ha did nothing wrong, absolutely nothing. I've really gone off about it before. I predicted that he won't come back because that's the way the SM works. You know how I feel about Lucas. They did nothing to help or protect him. SM's happy to let the idols bite the bullet. And I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe because they don't have enough money to fight, to sue, because they know who's really behind these allegations. They're not suing individuals. They did finally come out with this one and say they will process. They will if they have to, and reminded these fans that these are criminal things that they're doing, and they could sue them. But they didn't go after him like what Plav's company just said. We will be taking legal action. So again, I wonder why. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Something in the water ain't clean here. And I don't know. Every group on that label and all the subsidiary groups have no allegations, except for that one bullying allegation, which really helped get a lot of press to that girl group who were struggling with that first single. She was collateral damage. I'm just over it. I'm so over the way this world works. It's gross. And it just makes me sad. Like kids lose out on their dreams for this ridiculous stuff that should never be a scandal to begin with. Period. I don't give a shit if you cheat on your girlfriend. I don't give a shit if you smoke, if you go to clubs, if you're a jerk. I don't care. So are 99% of the people out in the world. All of these people in America, you think these people are good people? These pop stars are good people? These celebrities are good people? Ugh. let's get in touch with reality. I'm here for the music. And also, like, people make mistakes, human beings make mistakes. And when I was 18, 19, there's a million things I would cringe at now and be so embarrassed that I behaved that way. You have to sort of show some grace. So all of these scandals shouldn't be scandals to begin with, number one. Number two, I don't think they're just simple scandals. I've thought this for a long time. When I really followed the trail from the Wonho Monsta X situation is when I first started talking about something here isn't right. And I think this is coming from this company. Just a guess. Just a guess. I'm sure I'm wrong. And I'm sure those stans who aren't real, by the way, I don't think even the stans that leave comments are real. I'm sure they'll tell me, no way, because God forbid their favorites are part of a company that does evil things. The entertainment industry is evil. Like, the way the entertainment industry runs is inherently sleazy and evil. Just because someone signed to a record label or they work for a Netflix show doesn't mean they're a bad person. They're part of that world. It doesn't mean, like, I have nothing against the artists at all. I have nothing against any of the artists on that label. I'm a huge fan of a lot of those artists. That's what makes it difficult, because I'm like, ugh. But again, I think we just have to use common sense, and RIIZE is being attacked. And my guess is there's a lot of money behind this attack. This is not random. So I hope they make it through. I hope fans rally around them, support them. I will be. I've been listening to RIIZE a lot this week. And I did get a ticket for their fan concert here in LA. So I'm really excited about that. I hope that they can weather this storm, because it sucks. It really, really sucks. They don't deserve that. Nobody does. None of these groups on any of the labels, big or small. These are kids. These are young people who have worked so hard to get to where they are. Don't take their dream away because of stupid scandals and societal pressure. And I also want to say something very specifically to solo stands of Stray Kids. I see you. I'm on Twitter every day. I see what you're saying and I see what you're doing, and it's ugly. It's ugly. Y'all know I love Hyunjin. I ride for him. You know who else I love? All 8 members of Stray Kids, who I would fight for, who I would go to bat for. All 8 of those guys are amazing. There are solo stands of another member who are currently sending protest trucks to JYP to kick Hyunjin out of the group. Ooh, I'm going to have to start making a list of people I hate on this podcast. My least favorite people of the week, because they're number one, and that's a lot. A lot of my favorites are going through a lot of stuff this week. It's bad enough the RIIZE boys have to go through this, but now you're telling me fans of another member of Stray Kids are attacking Hyunjin? No, you aren't. No, you aren't. No. Tell me who they are. I just want to talk. And also, do you think your favorite is proud of you for bullying one of his best friends? I ride hard for my friends. You treat my friend like that, I would hate you forever. So I'm not really sure what you think you're achieving, except embarrassing yourself and angering the fandom. Like, no. Boo to you. Boo. You're lame. Lame. Embarrassing. Embarrassing. Don't ever come for Hyunjin. Period. Hyunjin deserves the world. He's been through so much. And you're going to do this? Like, no, I'm over it. Anyways, clearly I could rant about fans that are getting on my last nerve. It's becoming a broken record. Those RIIZE boys do not deserve this. You're not going to come for Plave. They're a virtual group and they're getting bullied. Imagine that. Imagine these guys, all they're doing is producing and making great music behind the scenes. They've got really beautiful visuals to go with the music, and people are still bullying them and trying to ruin them. There are a lot of crazy, awful fans, and there are a lot of corrupt companies with a lot of money behind them. And when they meet, it's disgusting. Anyways, I'm rooting for RIIZE. Obviously, I ride hard for Hyunjin. And if I was in Korea, I would go tear those trucks down with like She-Hulk strength. I would. I'd be like, rah. No, you're not going to do that to Hyunjin. Not on my watch. Anyways, back Back to the news. Congratulations to 127. NCT 127 had their final concert pre-enlistment. They did kind of a fan con tour, a few shows in Asia. They were in Japan this past weekend. I watched all the clips. Very sad. We know that Taeyong enlistment news is coming up. I want to give a special shout out to Jungwoo. His tap dance challenge was my favorite. Taeyong's been doing it with everyone, but Jungwoo, so handsome and cool. I loved his like hoodie baseball cap. He just looked like the cutest guy in the world. And his dancing, I have said it forever. He's the best dancer in 127. He doesn't get the credit, but he's the sneaky guy that actually is a killer dancer. And I loved his tap dance challenge with Taeyong. The last concert was very special, and I'm happy the guys were able to enjoy it together and send Taeyong off on a bright note. Yeah, it's going to be tough when he enlists. I'm prepared for it now. I'm ready because it means he comes back sooner. I'm not ready for 127 to not put out projects. They announced Doyoung has a solo project coming in April. So that's exciting. Can't wait for that. We're going to have solo projects. We're going to have subunits, and then they'll get back together. I'm not worried for 127's future. I think they're going to be like EXO, a lot of subunits and, smaller group activities till they can all be together. Looking forward to that day. And yeah, it was a nice concert. Again, I'm excited about this NCT Dream album. I think this might be what gets me into Dream a little bit more. I like the sound of it. So I will review that when I'm back in a few weeks. WeBridge was canceled. WeBridge Festival in Las Vegas was canceled this week. If you remember on my podcast, when I talked about crazy super concert being canceled, I advised you all not to buy tickets for WeBridge. Not to be negative, I went to WeBridge last year and I loved it. But when I saw the lineup and when I saw how much they were asking, I knew this wasn't going to happen. There's no way there are enough fans. And it has me thinking, things have changed pretty drastically in K-pop. Since I started doing my last podcast 4 years ago to now, I have seen fan behavior change. And I don't want to say for better or for worse, but I feel like a lot of people got into K-pop during the pandemic. I've spoken with a lot of people over the years. That was how they got into it. And they became obsessed and really fanatical and loved it. And the second they could go to these concerts, they went to all of them. I think those people are kind of fading. And I think, there's multiple things going on here. But with the addition of like more and more concerts stateside, more and more of these like WeBridge type things, and then a rise in prices and a lot of inflation. People are struggling. A lot of people who haven't noticed prices or talked about it and live a very well-off life are starting to mention how expensive things are. You can't escape it. So I think the combination of high ticket prices and maybe some fan fatigue. I've talked about it. I don't go to every concert that comes to LA. And a couple years ago, I would have. Now I'm like physically tired. And it's expensive. I look at who's coming and I go, is that worth it? Check the ticket price. Is that worth it? Do you want to spend $200 to see this group you only kind of like? And for me, the answer is no. Now I'm only spending money for groups I really like. I think a lot of people are in that boat. And I don't think K-pop will ever go away. But I think these festivals like Crazy Concert, WeBridge, consumers are different now. They only want to see their favorites. It's not worth paying $500 to see your favorite do 2 songs. The only exception is KCON because their lineup is always so stacked. But it's interesting. It's been very interesting for me to watch kind of the roller coaster of K-pop fandom, people being into it, people falling off, new people coming in, people over it. I think that's always going to happen. That's always going to be part of it. But it's a huge wave now because of the pandemic. We're 4 years almost to the date of the pandemic. So we're seeing the wave. It's interesting. No shade to WeBridge. I had the best time last year. I would go again. I decided this year I wasn't going because I wasn't crazy about the lineup. And you have to travel and pay for all of that stuff. It's expensive. But hopefully they get it together and they come back next year because I did think the first one was actually really fun. So we'll see. Maybe maybe they'll learn their lesson and kind of change some organizational things, or maybe it's just done. Maybe no more K-pop festivals in the States and we all just pay to see our favorites. I'm fine with that. Stray Kids comeback is coming. I feel like they're going to announce their comeback very, very soon. Part of me feels like I've just been waiting it out for Stray Kids comeback. Like everything else is cool and exciting, but I'm secretly like, when is this comeback? When is the Stray Kids tour? Like my stay heart is just so excited for what Stray Kids do next. Obviously, Felix and Hyunjin and all the boys at the fashion shows and everything they've been doing, wonderful. But I need all 8 of my men as a group with a comeback soon, and I think we're going to get it. I'm with you, Stays. I'm ready for this. And Stays, let's continue to call out poor fan behavior. Those aren't Stays. Those are, solo fans who aren't stable. But it's your job as a fan to be like, hey, this isn't cool and we're not going to ride for this. Let's be kind to every member. Let's show love and appreciation to everyone. Life is hard. We don't need to make it harder for other people. Don't do that. Let's be cool. Let's be nice. That's it. Again, I'm not going to be here for 2 weeks. Try not to miss me too much. I know it will be devastating for everyone. I will be back the first week of April with tons of reviews. I know there's a lot happening between now and then. Don't worry, I'll give a full review when I come back, but I got to take a break sometimes. So this is my spring break. Thank you so much in advance for understanding. I hate leaving my listeners, but sometimes life happens and you got to take care of other things besides talking about K-pop. So I will be back in a few weeks. I hope you're all doing well. I love y'all so much. I love talking about this. I love the community. Sorry, I've been ranting a lot. It's just like every time I'm rounding up K-pop news, it's like, oh, here's another scandal. That's not a scandal. That's going to ruin a kid's life. It just gets tiring and frustrating. I want people to be happy and healthy and feel loved and supported. The world is hard enough. Let's do everything we can to uplift each other and spread love. Special shout out to my Patreon community. Speaking of love, amazing people, and I'm so happy to be a part of your lives. Thank you for being part of this community. And just a shout out to Stays in general, because I love y'all. And yeah, just talking about the potential comeback made me excited. So I can't wait for that. I hope you're all happy, healthy, safe. Happy St. Patrick's Day. That's this weekend. Yes, I'm Irish. Yeah, of course I am. So happy St. Patrick's Day, Irish or not. Have fun. Please be smart and be safe. No drinking or driving. Don't do that. There's Ubers, there's rides. And if the Uber's too expensive, just stay where you are. Please don't drink and drive, no matter where you are in the world. Be smart about your alcohol consumption because like one split second can just ruin everyone's lives and that's not worth it. So happy St. Patrick's Day. Enjoy March Madness. My fellow college basketball lovers, our time is here. Rock Chalk Jayhawk and let's go Pitt. I'm excited. I'm ready to fill out my bracket. I will speak with you all in 2 weeks. Have the best time during this break and I will be fired up and ready to go with reviews for you when I get back. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of my world. Mwah! I love you. I will see you soon. Bye.